Renee Bays, Rakim, John, 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 Renee Bays.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Podcast of Color, where poor trash bags and sometimes Ziploc bags get together to make some sense of this world. I am John, and happy Indigenous Day.
I'm Rakim, and I'm the Ziploc bag.
You're full of what?
Glitter.
Oh, that's pretty. What are you full of?
Resentment. How about you, Base? By the way, I'm Renee.
You know those?
How about you, Base?
You know those cum savers? You know they put like ice cubes of cum in the freezer.
What the fuck?
They collect them from the people that they hook up with. That's what I'm filled with.
Stop the episode now. Stop it.
I'm sure you're very familiar with that, Renee, being in the Bay Area a lot.
Oh my!
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you're familiar with it personally. I just mean like you've probably heard of it.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've actually never heard of it until you guys have educated me on cum.
Oh yeah, cum savers are a thing.
They're like
Cum
lifesavers.
collectors. Like, they're really collectors, actually.
They're synonyms.
You know, they have an assortment in their fridge. You know, I feel like they like put them in like glasses
flavor.
of wine, and they have like they like
Base.
stir it around, swish it around.
This dude was eating pineapple all day.
Yeah.
This guy was eating
Our
They have,
Father,
like,
which
cum
art in
tasting.
heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
No, I was trying to have this opening not be overly
You guys,
sexual.
I started off with an Indigenous Day. How did we get to cum
Oh.
savers? But I was imagining them like drinking it from the wine glass, and they're like, "This is a 2013 Folsom cum."
Everyone from my job is like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to this," and I'm like, "Ooh, no."
5'9", African American.
Little oaky.
Y'all are trash. What's the question?
Fermenting for
That was
The
that was
question
not the
of color.
though.
This
That was the question. Shut up.
question of
What was your flavor?
wait. What? Today, what celebrity crush was your first ever crush?
Baze, I want you to go first. I mean,
my
would you
first
mind
celebrity
going personally?
crush? Oh yeah, I don't mind. My first celebrity crush was, I don't know if you guys remember the Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Tommy, the
yeah.
White Ranger, was
Oh my god! Wait,
my crush. Because he had
With
like
his
he has the
ponytail?
ponytail, and then he had like that one earring, and I was just like,
And you liked when he morphed into a dragon.
mhm.
Wow.
Wait,
like a
okay, I
dungeon
had three
dragon, like a
crushes on-
dungeon dragon, like a dungeon.
Call me a
I walked
dragon
into
'cause the
I walked
pussy's
into
fire.
Stonewall last night, and that song was playing, and I was just like, and it was like
That is
white
so
gays were
funny.
twerking in Stonewall.
Oh my god!
Sorry,
We have to
continue.
meet our POC quota of Nicki lyrics.
Or Busta Rhymes lyrics because that's originally Busta.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding.
Educate
well,
her.
I had a crush. Well, I had a crush on. Sorry, I keep doing that.
Did you say you had 3 crushes?
I had 3 crushes on Power Rangers. I had a crush on
Trini.
Can he finish?
Sorry,
No.
not that one. I was too. I was too white, aspiring, self-hating when I was a kid. I was into Tommy, Billy, and Kimberly,
Oh.
Wow.
and also, do you remember JTT?
Mm-mm.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Do you remember that?
Man of the House. Home Improvement.
What?
Remember how everyone had a
I don't
crush
get
on
it,
him?
but you know.
You don't know who JTT is?
No, I know who it is. No, it's not before my time. First of all, don't infantilize me. Infantilize. I mispronounced that word.
She was born last year.
Me and Mark had this whole debate on
On
Twitter
Twitter, it
about
was
me
glorious.
being a 90s kid. And I
Is it
still
you?
stand by it. He says I'm not a 90s kid because I was born in the 90s and I wasn't old enough to remember a lot of it. Just because I don't remember when I was about to say Keith Urban. Kurt Cobain was alive doesn't mean that I'm not a
Well,
90s
you're also
kid.
black.
Anyway,
I remember that day at school. That was like a big day at school. People brought their Nirvana shirts and everything.
I was like
went to
2
like,
and that's fine. I still am a 90s kid and I still count.
I'm a 90s kid.
Rakim, it's your turn.
Okay, this is really Okay, Lance Bass. I really.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh my god! Everyone just clutched their pearls. Is that bad of an answer?
God, this is worse than your crush
Kind of.
on Sam Smith.
Who said that?
Oh my god!
Who said that?
Wait, should we mention Jeb Bush?
So everyone, that's
Oh.
going to be the intro for this week. We're going to cut it there, and then we'll see you in Minutes of Color.
Wait, John didn't go.
We'll see you in...
Oh shit! Wait, John.
Okay. Yikes.
This is gonna sound really gross, but
You can't be worse than what we just heard.
I mean, it might be. Tom Selleck.
Who's that?
Wait,
John.
no, I get it.
I mean, I know that he's like conservative trash,
Oh, is he?
but when I was a kid, I had no idea, and I just saw an older man with like this banging mustache, and I was like, I don't know why I have this funny feeling in my pants. I was like a little boy.
He looked like the paper towel guy.
He looked like one of my Theos.
yeah.
He legit
I mean,
looked like one of
I
my
did have a crush. Oh wait, if we want to go that far back, I did have a crush on the brawny guy, if cartoons count.
Why would you admit that you had a crush on a Never mind. You watch... What? You watch
We
hentai?
always talk about this. I told you Moses from Prince of Egypt could get it, and
Wait, no, you-
Prince of Egypt.
No, you were into King Triton.
King Triton too.
Oh,
Zaddy.
King Triton was daddy for sure.
Zaddy
Oh
with
wait,
a tail.
you know who I was into? Oh wait, never mind. Okay, yay! This was a great minutes of thing.
He remembered that NDA.
He's like, oops, sign that.
No, I was gonna say John Smith, but that would
Oh,
on the nose.
you went like with a
Yeah.
real like
The
full-on
actual colonizer.
the original.
On Indigenous Peoples Day.
Wow.
Oh,
Jesus.
Wow.
I mean, I'm very far from John Smith.
Suddenly,
now, so-
Lance Bass doesn't
I'm
seem
past that now.
bad.
That's the old me. That was yesterday.
The old Renee can't come to the phone right now. You know why? Because he's colonized.
She's dead. Oh.
because he's calling.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
We're
with that,
gonna
we're gonna actually move on now. We're trash.
Trash, 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 trash.
That was
very
almost in
impressed.
unison. Like unison.
That's a Bjork song.
Unison?
Mm-hmm. Sing it, bass.
name on everybody's lips is gonna be Roxy.
That's Bjork.
Roxy Heart. That's my Bjork.
He said, "Not my Bjork." Well,
I don't
hashtag
really,
not my Bjork.
I don't really know her like that. But anyway. Hi guys. Welcome to the Minutes of Color. See, I got it there. You know, I have my moments. I have a really bad memory, but it's cool. So, Queen of Stunts of Queens, Mike Pence, showed up at Colts versus 49ers game in wherever the fuck the Colts are. I don't know. Indiana? I don't know. And
They're in the US.
He was, huh?
They're in the
What'd
US.
you say? Yeah, they're somewhere in America.
Yep.
But I know that he was in Vegas initially, and then he flew to wherever the hell, like further east to this game. Showed up, left, then flew back to LA or somewhere in California. It just was funny because like this was all a stunt, like, you know, again, stunt queen. And just not even a good stunt queen. Because, like, if you're going to pull a stunt, sis, like, be somewhat subtle about it.
Mhm.
But you out here posting, like, pictures from 2 years ago of you at the game talking about, oh, I just want to go to, have me and my wife enjoying the game. Like, that was from 2 years ago. That's not even a picture from the day you were at the game. And then Trump's dumbass came out and said, basically, that you've been planning it the whole time. So, it just is like...
She may as well have like descended from the ceiling, like,
You know, right? Like, might as well did the Lady Gaga
Is it
entrance.
I was gonna say that's a Lady Gaga reference.
Like,
Might as well have.
what do you do successfully? quickly. Like, I was just sitting here like, Olivia Pope was rolling over in her grave. Like, this is like, Shonda Rhimes could have done a better job. Actually, Shonda Sweetie, I'm so sorry. But it's just like...
They should have hit up Shonda.
They really should have. Because it's just like, the only difference between the photo that he posted 2 years ago or however long ago versus the one that he posted, I guess, today or yesterday, was he literally just got the brightness slider and like went down some. Like, they edited this photo to make it look different. To think that people wouldn't... No, like... And then didn't like Trump say like, oh, well... He tweeted, I told him to leave or something like that.
Yeah,
like, he stays undermining his staff on Twitter. Like, how dumb can you be?
Wasting taxpayer dollars.
Oh, all fiscally conservative, wasted. I don't want to guess how much, but it was a lot of money. The listeners will fact check us, but it was... Yeah.
it was some dough. It was some cash. I know that much.
Look,
I just know that he flew east.
Over.
So that's plane. They had to do security to clear like the stadium for him to be there. Like that's money. I don't know how much, but it's money.
They're so dumb. They had the press go and then told the press they can stay in the van because he's not going to be waiting that long. Like you just told them that it's going to be a PR. Like I just,
y'all are so stupid. Like how can you be this? Like I knew that Trump was dumb. But I thought and I knew that Pence was on some level. I knew he was not quite there. But I did not realize that he was literally on Trump's level. Because you have to be on Trump's level to think that with this, what was this, like, I know what you were trying to accomplish, but everybody saw through it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you also defeated the purpose of why you were doing it. Like, this becoming a PR stunt became a bigger thing than your point, which was like, which is wrong, but your point was, I'm protesting people. Well, which is so funny, because he was saying that he's protesting people doing something that he doesn't like. Interesting. But, like, now the fact that you did it so terribly is the story and not what you were actually trying to say. So, it's like,
I mean, their base don't really care, though. Like, at the end of the day, like, they're just like, okay, you're making a statement, even if it was calculated. Like, they don't really care. They're just into the fact that he made that statement.
That is true. They don't really care what everybody else thinks. Their audience is their base, basically.
Y'all are so nice using the word base. It's a cult, but it's okay.
Yeah, this is true. So, on to what Crystal called on Twitter the Real Housewives of White Supremacy. Melania and Ivana Trump Ivana, not Ivanka, are reportedly feuding. Not really reportedly. I mean, like, it's kind of out now happening. Ivana Trump's first wife was like, I call the White House, but like I don't want to call too much because I don't want to make Melania jealous, and like I'm really the first lady because I'm the first wife, and I talk to Trump every 14 days. I'm like, girl, that's really not like that often to be bragging about it, but whatever. Anyway, she's like, yes, I have his direct line, and she's just like filling her oats. She's like, I told him to speak on Twitter, not to the media, because they twist his words, and when he's on Twitter, he can speak directly to the people, unfiltered. And so I guess Melania clapped back.
Did she now?
Yeah, well, sort of. Like, I guess through a statement. She said, from Stephanie, Mrs. Trump has made the White House a home for Barron and the president. She loves living in Washington, D.C. and is honored by her role as First Lady of the United States. She plans to use her title and role to help children, not sell books. There is clearly no substance to this statement from an ex. Unfortunately, only attention-seeking and self-serving noise. Get her, Melania.
Wait.
Lonnie.
That was
Lonnie.
Wait, you said the Real Housewives of White Supremacy. I was thinking,
supremacy.
like, like when they have an intro to the show, like, I feel like where hers is, she goes, I tie nooses, not necklaces. Like,
oh my God.
Oh my god, I knew this is not
Like, oh my god.
I'm gonna just let y'all sit with that for a second.
Oh man, I'm sorry, but I mean, it's just like this is so terrible. Like y'all are literally competing over like the man who's going to go. Like in history, y'all are going to look so dumb. Like,
I mean, y'all look dumb now,
right?
Y'all look dumb in 2017. This is, I don't know. Anyway, it just was just funny to me. I didn't really have too much to say about it. Senator Bob Corker. I forgot what he's a senator of, but he's a senator who's also a horrible person. But people are giving him what?
I said he's the senator of bullshit.
Oh yes, yes. He is retiring from the Senate, and he's not running for re-election. And Trump came out and was like, "Oh girl, you just wanted me to endorse you, but I chose not to, so now you're not running for a re-election because you're a coward." And then obviously, as what always happens, somebody from behind the scenes came through and was like, actually he wanted him to run for re-election and actually offered to endorse him, but he didn't want to rerun because he's not really in agreement with Trump. And Corker came out on Twitter and was like something about I guess the babysitter at the White House is off duty, and everybody's praising him for it. But I'm just he endorsed Trump the entire run and still does not regret endorsing him. And instead of actually doing something with his vote, he's bowing out. So he's talking all this talk about how detrimental Trump is to the country. But again, I think it was something 87% of his votes were in alignment with Trump's. So.
Ooh. Facts for that ass. I don't even know what else to say. They all can choke. You can drink bleach. You can what other? You can drink battery acid. You can. What other harmful liquids can they consume?
Drano.
That's the cum savers.
Oh,
no, they don't
flavor,
deserve
sweetie.
that
I'm
delicacy.
so sorry.
Welcome to Rakeem's White Supremacy Cantina. We have a wide array of poisonous liquids just for white supremacists.
Right. Rat poison margarita Tuesday. Battery acid Monday. We have is there a day of the week that starts with B? No. Beach bleach Saturday. I'm trying to you know what? I actually might make a menu and I might post it on the podcast Instagram. Let's do that.
Yes, Let's do that.
If you have drinks that you would like to serve up white supremacists and Republicans, send your suggestions to podcast@color@gmail.com and you might be on the menu.
Fridays.
No. Did you say P&P?
I'm leaving.
Oh, do they not want Fleetwater Friday?
Okay.
Oh my God.
Fleetwater Friday. Oh Lord, that's our special. So there's been a couple of exposés this week, and one of them shined the light on some supposedly liberal members of the liberal media, I suppose you could say, palling around with Milo, Yipa, whatever. And one of them is Mitchell Sunderland, who was a senior staff writer for Broadly and Vice. Mm-hmm. I think Broadly is I think it's geared towards women. Mm. Yeah, it's it's a publication geared towards women. And then Vice, which everyone knows, if you've heard of Vice, I'm sure. And he sent an email to Milo asking if he thought Zoe Quinn, who I actually know personally and is a really sweet person, if Zoe Quinn is do you think she was born a woman?
Wow.
And Zoe Quinn, for those of you that don't know, she was harassed incessantly by Gamergaters. And she actually wrote a book. What shit? Let me plug this real quick, because she deserves it. Because she has been through some fucking shit with all these man babies on Twitter. She is the Unburnt Witch on Twitter.
The Unburnt.
The Unbound Witch. Okay, I'm blanking, but I will get back to y'all on the book. Oh, it's called Crash Override: How Gamergate Nearly Destroyed My Life. So yeah, check her out. She's awesome. He basically, the gist of this story is that a lot of men who are like known people in like liberal media were basically interacting with Milo and palling around with him and hanging out with him.
And like a lot of conservative writers as well as people on Breitbart.
Well, yeah, definitely. But wait, are you saying that they were hanging out with them as well as Milo? Or are you saying that? Yeah. Okay, yeah. And it was just, how Milo, whatever his name is, how he was able to like rise in fame and attention is because a lot of the people that enabled him were like white liberals, basically. Mm-hmm. And it just goes back to what we say about like how you guys are not personally at stake for a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so you guys are, to these people that are harmful to our quality of life, you're being friends with them and you're like debating them like it's just some conversation, and then you're going and having drinks with them afterwards. Right. And, it's the same issue that I have with, it's mostly white liberals, but like it's the reason. Who's the guy that does late night, the mixed race guy from South Africa?
Trevor Noah.
Yeah, Trevor Noah. It's the same issue I have with Trevor Noah.
What he did, or tomato paste?
Yeah, it's that I'm having a conversation and that's what this is, but I can still at the end of the day respect your dehumanizing opinion, and it just doesn't wash. Like this is what y'all enable.
It's an insult to intellectual thought when people do shit like that. I honestly don't understand how you can sit at the table with someone who says, "I want this whole race of people to be exterminated." But it's okay. We can go get drinks in Kiki afterwards. I don't understand that. It was like when Charlemagne, actually, I mean, I feel like they did it with her because they wanted to fuck her, but it was after they did it with Tommy Pigeonhead. They all had their conversation or whatever, and then they responded having drinks afterwards. Like Trevor Noah and her, and Charlemagne and her, and it's like she goes and says there's really horrible shit, but at the end, and it's going to affect you, and right. you think it won't because you have money. But then and then you go and you sit and you have drinks with what is that? I don't. It's like I always used to say this as a joke, and I've said it on the show before, that if Hitler were here, he'd be on a late night talking show, and people would give him a platform because you have to hear all the sides. I don't.
Yeah, it just.
Well, I was gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead, girl.
I feel with this in particular, I would say it's even worse than just palling around with them. I mean, that's pretty bad. But what some of these writers were doing were sending stories from feminists or people or whoever that they didn't mm-hmm. sending these stories directly to these writers and being like, hey, make fun of this person. There was one instance where a writer sent a feminist piece and was like, hey, make fun of this fat feminist. Write something on this. So it's it wasn't even just they're palling around, which already is fucked up, but it was also they were low key. They were writing these quote unquote progressive articles of this is why, blah, blah, whatever performance piece they had basically, or mm-hmm. performative piece.
Performative wokeness. Yeah,
exactly, on what they wanted. They were sitting there writing these articles, but then low key hitting up Milo, whoever, all these writers, and being make sure to write about this person that I don't like.
And I wanted to correct myself really quickly, before one of y'all come and correct me. Mitchell Sunderland actually was the one who did that. The Please Mock This Fat Feminist about Lindy West. The person who wrote about Zoe Quinn is actually Dan Lyons. He was a writer on Silicon Valley, the HBO show.
Right.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to correct myself there.
And this is just the thing with media in general. Whenever, this is why I'm kind of always side-eyeing people that are hanging out with people that are problematic or have fucked up politics. That's why I'm always just kind of what does that say about you if you are constantly around that person or consider that person a good friend or look up to that person even. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why, that's why these people have infiltrated the media, and that's why everything is so out of touch. like ads, movies, stories, whatever. Like this is what's ruling the media.
Somebody begged the question: was this something? In the article that I was reading, it's actually a Jezebel article, so that dragged me out. Oh, this one actually was. This one. Oh yeah, it was Jezebel. Never mind. I was gonna be like, no, it wasn't actually Jezebel. No, but it's by Megan Reynolds. And she asked, like, is this a case of someone who always thought this and was just pretending the whole time that they didn't think this way, or was this a person who was one of those we have to listen to all sides, and they got caught up in listening to all sides, and they got too close to it and too friendly with people? And
does it matter?
I mean, no, it's interesting because I think it's an interesting question to ask, because it begs, like, if you are in a situation where you have nothing really to lose personally, like if you have nothing personally at stake, and you're trying to listen to the other side, because everyone's always like, what about diversity of thought and diversity of opinion, and you're trying to like do that. I think that would be really interesting if in reality what's happening is that you're exposing yourself to these ideals and ideas, and in fact it's turning you instead of the other way around.
I disagree.
I think that would be,
because
I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm saying that it would be interesting if that was actually happening.
Well, okay, but if you're around these ideas all the time and you're not constantly disgusted by them, and the fact that you're constantly around those ideas means that you were either interested in them in the first place, or you're not a good person and you think that it's fine. It's not like the idea was like, I don't know, like pickles on hamburgers is trash, or even like tax policy or something. Like, it's literally like people need to be exterminated. Like, that is not like the thing about intellectual thought and like the debate and diversity of intellectual thought is it does not include thought that's archaic as fuck. If I say that I think that we should stone women if you have sex, like, you're not going to entertain that thought and have a conversation with me about it, because you know it's fucking dumb. And the fact that people don't consider these thoughts fucking dumb means that they either low-key believe them, or not low-key, but they subtly believe them, or they approve of them. So it's like, I don't think I'm around white supremacy all the time. Doesn't mean I'm a white supremacist.
Fair point. Mitchell Sunderland was actually fired from Broadly and Vice, so
that's nice.
His mentions were a fucking mess.
But yeah, low-key, this is why I never really trust think pieces or whatever that come from people that have absolutely nothing at stake with certain issues. So
in some like bright ass news, the first gay couple to get married in Germany got married. I meant to mention this last week, but then we just had so much shit that I just forgot. But so apparently they tried to get married back in 92, but they were turned away, and so they just ended up doing a registered partnership, which is legal under German law. But yeah, they met 38 years ago, and they their names are Carl Creel and Bodo Minde, and they were finally able to get married. So I don't often.
Go ahead.
Oh no, never mind. It was nothing. Go ahead.
I'm so terrible, because when you were going to say in brighter news, I thought you were going to talk about the Dove commercial.
Oh, well, listen. And some more brighter news if you want to get brightened.
Sorry.
And lightened.
I was like, ooh, I was like an interest. I was like, that's a smart segue, I guess.
If you get tired of being dark and lovely. The Dove commercial. I mean, it was horrible. It's something that I put on the list, but I was just, they had a commercial. A black woman in a brown t-shirt takes off her shirt, and then she's a white woman in a white t-shirt, and then the white woman in the white t-shirt takes off her shirt, and then she's like a vaguely brown woman and like a light off-white shirt, I think it was.
It
was tone deaf. These commercials have to go through so many people. I can't believe that this was an accident. I just don't believe it was an accident. And like, I know that these people have these companies have diversity issues, but like, you're telling me not one person. There was not one single person of color that was like, maybe.
No, because it was the same team that did Kendall's Pepsi commercial. It was like, it It wasn't, but I mean, I don't know if it was, but it might as well have been. It was just like, I don't get. Can you imagine being the black actress on set that day, being like, I know I got to do this for this fucking check?
Well,
like,
they don't know. I don't think that they know until it's edited.
And I would obviously, if I knew that this was going to be the outcome, like I would have never done something.
You're dumb.
Like, it's, oh my god, it's like, I cannot believe something like that came out in 2017. That is all. Like,
I'm really like, I've been in this Britney Spears kick lately, and I wanted to mention this. This is actually a serious topic, but I just like want to mention this. So I've gotten into like this Britney Spears kick, and I've been listening to her music, and I don't think I was
what?
like,
Set it off.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I think you know what? I was listening to this 90s playlist, and Hit Me Baby One More Time came on, and I was like, oh wait, this is a bop. And like, I've never been like,
that was originally written for TLC. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
really?
Oh, I've always liked Britney Spears in theory. Like, I like appreciated her aesthetic, but I never was like,
What's her aesthetic?
I'm into Britney. I don't know. Like, I just wasn't into her, I guess I would say. Like, I wasn't actually into her. Like, I appreciated what she did for music and, like, you know, her place in music or whatever. But, like, I never was like, Britney, oh my God, Britney. Oh, yeah. And I think part of it is, like, I think so young when she, like, when she hit her peak, like, in the early 2000s when I was in, like, elementary, early middle school.
She was, like, 20 something.
Huh? What?
She was, like, in her early 20s.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that because
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about is I didn't realize like how much pressure she had been in, and it gave me I think a deeper understanding of like why she like lost it.
Yeah.
Because I was like doing math in my head or whatever. She was born in like 1981, so she's actually like a few months younger than Beyonce.
Yeah, they're the same age.
Yeah, and so she like Beyonce was born in September, she was born in December. She did that "Hit Me Baby One More Time" video, like with the schoolgirl outfit and the bra out.
Yeah,
and
like
the
16 or something.
She was 17.
Oh, so yeah.
When she did that.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think I grew, like, and I didn't realize, like, she's only, like, 10 years older than me. And, like, I think I always thought, like, here's this really sexualized woman, like, clearly this is a grown-ass woman, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think of her as, like, this is a kid.
Yeah.
And, like, when you think about, like, her performance that she did with Taylor Swift at the, what show was that? Where she had Taylor Swift draped across her shoulders and she was dancing around?
It was the MTV Movie Awards 2001.
There we go.
Or music, sorry.
There we go. She was not even 20 yet. She was 19 when she did that performance.
Yeah.
And so it's just like when she did Toxic, she was like 23, 22. So it's just like by the time she was my age, she had 2 kids and an ancient ass baby daddy and like fucked up parents who like were not really watching out for her and like an industry that had like torn her apart.
Yeah.
And like she had a fucking Justin Timberlake who likes to throw everybody under the bus, announcing to the world that she wasn't a virgin when he met her.
Damn.
And and then like she had pressure from whoever telling her to say that she was going to stay a virgin until she was married. And so like her sexuality was always like up in like the air and for everyone else to like consume. And so yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say, like, I really, like, it made me, like, I really admire her because I was like, wow, she's, like, really, like, been through the ringer. And I don't think I ever really, like, appreciated it.
Yeah, I think there's this, like, meme that was going around, like, the older I get, the more I understand Britney Spears 2007. Because, like, it's true. I think if I was, like, 17 years old and forced to be in these, like, provocative outfits and forced to be, like, sexualized in front of the whole world, and then, like, forced to grow up faster than I should have and, like, not experience, like, my childhood, I would break a window, too, and shave my... There's times I shave my head and, like, I don't even go through that. Like, it's insane.
I just think... No, I agree with you. And it's just, like... I have to apologize because I have been part of the issue. I have had a hard time separating how I feel about her personally from her... Well, that's not true.
Stance... Her racist ass.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay,
I was going to say her stage performances from her, but this is a time to appreciate Britney, so I'm going to do that. No, I think you're right, and like she definitely has been through a lot, and like, and I've heard that like her team actually keeps like they're not like she's not allowed to see negative like reviews and that kind of thing of her stuff. Like they really fuck with her, and it's like I feel like she almost lived in this like alternate reality where everyone was like telling her like so many things, and you can just really see how she wasn't in control of things, and that sucks. Yeah. So, but now she is, and she likes to be with her kids and like make PB&J and like twirl in her.
She's a good mom
hallway.
and post like Minion memes.
She was like, I think she was like, my boys don't judge me. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't have to be perfect for them. They don't judge me. And I was just like, oh my God. So like now I'm like just standing for her. Like now I like her music, and I also am just like standing her because she just seems like such a sweet person.
Yeah. I just want her to make like a country album about like being a mom, like with a banjo.
A banjo.
Wait, did you guys see that? Did you guys see that meme that was
we
like?
We don't talk about that.
Oh, Britney Jean.
There was this
meme that was like, the studio. Britney, you should really start advertising the new single. And then you go to her Instagram, and it's like pictures of like cartoon pictures of trees. She's like, if I were a little mouse, I would want to live in this tree. Like that's the type of shit that she posts.
Or like her little
She's
fashion
so
runways in her house.
Yeah,
like,
that is so
cute.
And
her like
they're
she
so
be like
bad.
turning real hard too.
They're so bad.
You bitches can't even spell banjo, and then she turns.
Cute.
It's great.
She's so cute. And I don't know. There's a documentary on Marsha P. Johnson coming to Netflix.
It was already out on Friday.
It's already out.
Oh, it's out. Okay. Well, look, listen.
I talked about it last episode.
Huh?
I said on the last episode that everyone should watch it, and now I sort of like regret saying that. But
the filmmaker David France, is the filmmaker. And one Raina Gossett has claimed that he basically plagiarized her work. Janet Mock called him out on Twitter. And, you know, Raina Gossett is a black trans woman, and a lot of people are basically dragging him for telling a story about a black trans woman using the work from a black trans woman. He claims that he saw that their work was not... He looked at her work and saw that it wasn't similar to what he was trying to do. He got funding, and, you know, he introduced her to donors. I don't know what's going on, but, like...
Well,
Lord
so...
Jesus.
Raina has a movie called Happy Birthday, Marsha, and it's sort of... Like, there's Maya someone... I forgot her last name. She was in Tangerine, but she's playing Marsha in her movie. And it's basically like it's a scripted, you know, it's based on her life, and I guess David Francis is more of an investigative narrative on how she died, which is like speculation that she was murdered. There's a lot of like there's a lot of evidence that doesn't match up with how she died. And so he's claiming that he's been, you know, the director, David France, said that he was her friend. He said, I'm Marsha's friend. I also identify more as queer than as gay. And that I feel like I owe this to Marsha to, like, tell her story. But the thing is that Raina was, like, I guess she had brought up her own project in the making of Happy Birthday, Marsha. And she had, you know, she did all this research and went through all the archives. And David has claimed that he was inspired by Raina, but like the thing is that
that's not what he said on Twitter. But is that okay?
I think that's what he responded back to Janet.
Janet,
yeah.
No, I saw the thing, and he said that he was like looking at her work to see if it was similar to what he was trying to do,
right?
And he said that what she was doing was completely different from what he was trying to do. And so that's why he didn't even use any of her stuff, because it's all his stuff, because they were trying to tell two separate stories, is what he's basically saying.
Well, I think he also took he took people from Raina's team as well, her research team, which was like
I didn't know that.
I'm a little confused as to how that works on like a documentary, because it's I mean, I guess I have to see it, but like, I'm a little bit confused because, like, documentaries are all about things that actually happen. So, is it, like, I'm a little bit confused how you... I don't know. I would have to look more into, like, how you, like, take someone's work.
They're both Inquirer research, and the types of movies are very different. You know, like his is a documentary, hers is more of like a biopic. So, and then he was saying he claimed he started this his research in 1992, but then like got re-inspired after seeing Raina's work, which is like kind of a weird way of saying that like you copied her. But I don't know. Like as someone who was alive and was actually friends with her, I don't know how to feel about that. You know, you do have, you know, like if my friend passed away in a
I forgot about that part.
Way, I would want to bring her story to life, and like whether or not I identify as trans, that's still my friend, and you know she's still part of my community, and like the community I identify with, and I feel like it's my duty to tell her story. So I don't know. This is very nuanced, but yeah, I feel like he should have helped Raina out more in her endeavors to make her movie, because you know she's a trans woman of color, and now she's like borrowing money to pay rent while he's like making money off this huge blockbuster. Like, I don't know what happened specifically, but I hope he helped her, or like, you know, helped her with her movie, because he said he wasn't.
Well, he's claiming that he introduced her to like the backers, the financial backers.
Right. Yeah. He helped her network. But
I'm gonna wait till all the facts come out before I make a judgment.
Yeah, I just was like, I don't know.
I mean, I think either way, I still want to. I want to see Happy Birthday, Marcia. I don't think that's out yet, but I still think, you know, seeing Life and Death of Marsha P. Johnson is still something that people should watch, just because like there are facts there that people don't know about her, or some people don't even know her. Period.
Yeah.
So you get to know her and Sylvia Rivera through that movie.
I think it's just a little fishy again whenever he's not a black trans woman. Do you know what I'm saying? So whenever it's somebody stepping in, it's like a white, as far as I can tell, white cis dude.
Yes.
So whenever it's somebody like stepping in to tell like a story that isn't exactly your experience, then it's a little weird.
But that was his friend,
right? So I get that, but it's like, this is why I get why people are skeptical, because I am.
But so like some really good cool news. I don't know if y'all are Harry Potter fans, but I'm a Harry Potter fan. And Jessica Williams just signed on to be in Fantastic Beasts 2.
Wait, to be what? To be who?
I don't know yet. She just said that she's going to be in it. We don't know.
And they're replacing Johnny Depp, apparently.
I heard that, but I'm looking at that, and I didn't want to say that because I'm like looking for like sources on that, and I'm not seeing any actual sources on that. Because I was going to say that, but I was like, wait. Again,
allegedly,
he's from what we've heard. The rumor is,
look, I ain't want to gossip
saying around on the block,
me, but
I mean, I would love. Like, I was really upset when I saw Johnny Depp at the end of the movie. I was like, why? He's not going to add anything to this movie. He's past his prime. He's a gross, disgusting human being. Like,
because people want.
But he
money.
doesn't even make money.
Like,
that's the thing. People keep just giving him chances. His movies are not doing well.
They're what? They're flops. Wait, Baze. Okay, I have a quick question for you about Harry Potter movies, including Fantastic Beasts. What are your top 3 and then worst 3?
Okay, well, definitely my favorite is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, just because it's like an introduction to like the Harry Potter world. Yeah, like it's just like you can't recapture that. Like that's that moment where he's like seeing like everything for the first time, and it's just like really like cool. So like that's my favorite because I remember the wonder of like seeing Harry in the boat and approaching Hogwarts. I don't know. It was really fun.
Huh. Okay.
My second favorite would be. I think my top 3 would be the first 3. Yeah, I think.
Okay. The first, and what are your least favorites?
My least favorites are the first part of the 7th book, because remember they broke it up into 2 parts. The first part, and I don't have a worst 3, but I think that the worst 2 to me are like I think movie 6, and Part 1 of movie 7.
I'll agree with that. I would say my favorites would be Goblet of Fire, Goblet of Fire, Prisoner of Azkaban, and then the Deathly Hallows Part 2, because that was everything. Like,
It was pretty epic.
it was epic. But they fucked up, like, the last
They fucked
battle.
up so much.
Like,
See,
it was
here's
rushed.
the thing. Did you read the books?
I didn't read the books until my second year of college. But
See, that's why I
read
read the books all first, and so I watched the first movie first, and then I read all the books. So like for me, there was so much that like didn't translate into the movie, like didn't make it into the movie, that like I wasn't overly impressed by a lot of the later films.
I thought they were cool with most of it, except the Half-Blood Prince was really weird. It was like, I don't know, it was weird. And then the Deathly Hallows Part 2, like, I was so pissed because they were talking about, like, how in the book, how, like, McGonagall and was, like, fighting Voldemort and, like, the ground was shaking and how, like, Molly Weasley and, like, Bellatrix were, like, fucking fighting, like, for, like, such a long time. And, like, and they even fucked up the "not my daughter, you bitch," and I was like, oh, and like I was just waiting for that. But I do remember when I was seeing Deathly Hallows Part 2, like I had a friend with me, and her name was Morgan, and like I remember once the movie was over, like and the credits were running, like we were like, okay, we gotta go, and she wouldn't get up, and she was like, once I leave here, my childhood is dead. And
that's how I felt.
No,
that's how I felt because I started reading Harry Potter in 4th grade, and that was when the first Harry Potter came out, and I started reading it in 4th grade, and then like I don't know, I was 20 something when the last one came out, but
That's when they brought the Exorcist to come take care of you.
Oh,
for
I was
reading
like,
Witchery,
wait, what?
sorcery.
no, that was when I was 12, I think, or no, I was 8. Wait.
when were you possessed by the devil? Think on it.
Girl, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. It was my childhood. That's all I remember. I was a kid when I started reading it.
Did you guys ever take that quiz and that tells you what
Ravenclaw
Slytherin.
belong to?
Slytherin.
What?
Slytherin.
Oh.
And
What about y'all?
became a Ravenclaw? What about
House of Labeija.
He puts on the sorting hat and it's like,
And he starts voguing.
he starts voguing down the Great Hall.
Not categories.
Wait, you didn't,
Renee,
you didn't-
I
never
could
taken
just
it,
picture
no.
Renee
Oh.
duck walking across the Great Hall.
in the Great Hall.
I'm just dead.
Wait.
Better be House of
Oh, wait, can someone... I feel like that's happened before, and
I
I
took
need
the
that to
quiz
happen
and
on
it came
like
up as-
Friday night at Precinct or something like that. I will actually get my
Harry
ass up
Potter
and go watch it.
sorting. Oh my god, that would be a Harry Potter.
That
Oh,
is so-
okay. Look, I'm about to flip out right now.
Hermione voguing, like, I'm trying to contain myself.
my quiz came out as Hufflepuff.
Of course. Of course.
Hufflepuff.
Of course you're a Hufflepuff.
Huh?
You're such a Hufflepuff.
I know. I was
That's-
like, wait, that's so predictable.
That's cute, John.
I think the most boring house is actually Gryffindor, to be honest with you. I think all the other houses are better than Gryffindor, to be
Yeah.
honest. But that's just me. I think I am a bit of a Griffin.
I mean, Harry Potter was the worst.
Griffinin, though. Not
Gryffindor?
A Slytherin. A Slytherin. I think I am kind of like a mix, though,
Slytherin.
even though it's a lame
What
house.
character is Hufflepuff?
Look,
Oh my god.
That girl with the mousy girl. Oh no.
Luna Lovegood?
Who's the famous? Who's the one from Hufflepuff?
None.
That's
Luna Lovegood.
Luna's
Oh, was she a Ravenclaw? Wait, no.
That's what I was
Luna's a
thinking.
Was she a
Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw? She was a Ravenclaw,
I
but she
thought it was
should have
her
been a
too,
Hufflepuff.
but-
That's what the story was. Oh, I don't know. Who was a Hufflepuff? They like
Literally
really didn't
no
give
one of
Hufflepuffs
importance.
too much attention, to be honest.
Which house was Ebony, Darkness, Dementia,
But
Raven,
she would be a
Wayne?
Ravenclaw.
She would be a Labeija.
Well, babe.
Oh, okay. That's me.
It's okay,
Um,
John. You can lead Hufflepuff and, do Hufflepuff things.
I'm the mother of the house of Hufflepuff.
To bring it back. So there was another expose this week that got a lot of attention. The New York Times did an expose on Harvey Weinstein, who is a trigger warning for everyone out there. It's we're about to start talking about sexual assault. Basically, Ashley Judd came forward and talked about her experience with him. He invited her to his hotel for a meeting after she got off. I forgot the name of the movie, but it was with Morgan Freeman, and it came out in 1997.
Kiss the Girls, which was about fucking sexual assault.
So she came off a set from that and met him at came to the hotel. He like asked her to come up to the room. She came up to the room. He then asked her to give him a massage. She said no. He asked her to watch him shower. She said no. It came out that like Rose McGowan, who, if y'all don't know who Rose McGowan is, she was in the iconic movie Jawbreakers. She was in she was Charmed. Paige, the White Lighter sister
Planet
on
Terror.
Charmed. She was what?
On Planet Terror with the machine gun leg.
Yes. I've never actually seen that, so I can't really rep that out. But I'll watch
oh
it.
My god, you have to.
And she's been talking about sexual assault in the industry for a bit. She came out and was like, you know, like they all need to go. She's like, everybody got to go. The whole board at Weinstein Company needs to be fired. Like they need to go. Like the company needs to just dissipate. So many people have been like complicit in keeping this down. Like anybody, like you don't even have to be in the industry and you've heard of Harvey Weinstein. Like you've heard of his casting couch, like Gretchen Mol, who was apparently like a it girl in the late 90s. And then like once she broke up with him, like her career just stalled, which this is rumor, but like, you know, it's just, there's so many rumors. There's rumors about Gwyneth Paltrow and how she got her Oscar. And, you know, there's rumors about Jennifer Lawrence and how she's getting so many like Oscar nominated roles. And it's just
Lindsay Lohan let that slip too.
What did she say
about Jennifer Lawrence? She said something like, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's fucked up the way that she said it, but she was like, I love Jennifer Lawrence, but I'm not going to sleep with people just to get roles or something like that.
Yeah. So it's just,
but like instead of being like fuck Jennifer Lawrence, she should have been like fuck this.
Fuck a man having that much power that he can get women to do that. To get the roles that they should, you know.
And that's what Ashley Judd said. She was like, she was scared she said no, but she was scared because she's like, how do I say no without fucking up my career right now? Do you know what I'm saying?
I just love that Matt Damon is actually getting exposed right now because apparently he so somebody wrote an expose. A woman journalist was writing an expose about this like 10 years ago. She's the founder of The Wrap. Her name is Sharon Waxman. She said that Matt Damon and Russell Crowe, she was working on a story about him that like basically tied him to like some Italian dude who was like allegedly like procuring Russian sex workers for him, and she was in contact with some woman in the UK who, like, apparently he had at least harassed. I don't know if assaulted, but harassed sexually. And she got calls from Matt Damon and Russell Crowe trying to, like, shut the story down. And Harvey Weinstein himself, like, showed up at the New York Times. And that's what she was saying, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, the New York Times, they're telling a story finally. But it's just like, this woman was trying to tell the story back in 2004. And I already don't like Matt Damon anyway, because of like, I don't know if y'all remember, but back in 2015, he had this show on HBO, The Green Light, and he white-splained diversity to a black filmmaker.
Yes.
A black woman who is a filmmaker, and he explained to her how diversity works and why diversity is important in front of the camera but not behind the camera.
That was Matt Damon.
He can choke.
My God.
I think he's also been like buddy with Casey Affleck, who has been accused of also being a predator. And it's just, I mean, so many people are getting exposed. Apparently, like, the ball has barely dropped because a lot of people are coming out of the woodworks to, like, tell their stories. I'm so happy that this is coming out finally. Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep came out and said that she didn't know anything about it, and she's been buddies with him for years. A lot of people don't believe her because this has been a rumor that's not only been a rumor in Hollywood, like, to the point where women were told not to be alone, like, women in the company going in pairs to his office when they've been called. Women dressing down when they go to work so that they don't have to deal with stuff from him. So these are like, all these things have been said, and it's just like, a lot of people are like, I just don't believe that you didn't hear about any of this.
That's her being very pageant.
I am looking forward to. I'm hoping that this leads to Bryan Singer getting exposed because
what did he do?
Everyone in I was gonna say everyone in LA, but apparently not everybody.
Well, I don't keep up with the gays. So I wouldn't know.
Most of the gays in LA are familiar with the stories of his parties with Barely Legal, and now a documentary has come out. What is it called? Have you seen it, Renee?
No,
I think it's called Open Secret.
Well, that's funny to hear that. No, is it about Bryan Singer?
Specifically about an Open Secret. It's actually on YouTube, and it talks. The director of this meets with some families of the boys and some boys who, when they were child actors or teenage actors back in the 90s, attended some of these parties with that were at Bryan Singer's or his friend's house, and they said that there would be drugs. These were kids, and there was not that.
There was I perked up because there was a friend of mine like several years ago who was really young. I believe he was of age at that time, but he still looked like he was probably like 14. Who would talk about actually,
I was just about to say that might not be,
but a certain director just kind of like almost harassing him, like just being very like up like on his back all the time whenever he was at these parties.
So I'm just like, people know about these things. People like, there's been so many controversies around Bryan Singer, and like I'm like a strong believer where there's smoke, there's fire. And if there's this many people that are saying things and this many rumors about this one person, I strongly believe that there's something going on and it needs to be investigated. So I'm hoping that, he's directed X-Men, and I'm really actually kind of upset because I was like, I really wanted to see Dark Phoenix because I really love Sophie Turner and I love Phoenix, but I was just like, I'm not supporting him and giving any of my money to Bryan Singer.
X-Men 2 was like my favorite superhero movie, and I was like, and it had like a lot of gay It had a lot of gay undertones, and I thought, like, I remember being like, holy shit, yes, like a gay, superhero director or whatever, but it turns out he's a fucking creep.
Speaking of sexual assault, Nene Leakes was doing stand-up. Nene Leakes from Real Housewives of Atlanta was doing a stand-up comedy show, and she got heckled by some woman, and she told her that she hopes she gets raped by a Uber driver.
What is wrong? What is happening? Like,
she's not a good person. Well, the thing is, Nene's not a good person, and she can't handle criticism at all.
But that's not criticism. Wait, Nene told someone that?
Yeah, she told them that in the show. Like, it's all over Twitter on her show.
Oh, sorry. I thought someone told her that.
No. She said it to someone else. So she can't handle criticism, and she frequently lashes out and says horrible things to people. And,
It's just like, it's really not that hard to not be an asshole. Like, it's really not. I don't understand what the fuck. Maybe this is just naive, but I just don't understand. I just feel like everything is fucking crazy right now. Like, what is happening? Like, this stuff in Hollywood does not surprise me at all. It happens all the time. It happens in modeling agencies all the time. It happens in castings all the time. It happens in the music industry all the time. And, like, I mean, I know this is about the Nene thing, but just going back a little bit, like, no one ever says anything. And it's just like, at what point, like, I've said it before, why do you even tell your kids to grow up to be good people? Why? Because, like, you don't believe that. Like, what's the point anymore? Like, sometimes I just feel like, not to be depressing, but sometimes I just feel like good people don't win anymore. Like, and we're in this culture where people just don't care about decency. Like, I don't know. I can't remember the article, but I remember a line in it saying, like, I don't know how to explain to you how to care about other people.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, I'm kind of just stunned right now that there's so much shit with this going on. Like, sexual assault's not funny. Like, you shouldn't joke about it. Like, you shouldn't wish that on anyone. I don't know. I'm just...
So... I don't know if I need to lighten this up because
sorry.
Bella Hadid did some type of like Nike advertisement thing or whatever, and she was in this place and she was like, I don't know if she went to like like Hogwarts School of Ebonics and like and like Hood Talk or what, or AABE. Like she was like, if Homeboy comes through with these, then it's quiet. But if Homeboy comes through with these, then like he could get it. And it's just become this big meme.
These are
and
dope.
It's just kind of sad. Like her and her like pressed hair. She looked like she used like an actual hot comb. Her hair looked so fried in that video. And she just sounds so confused and lost. She sounds so lost. She looks lost in her outfit. She looks lost. She sounds lost. Her hair is a mistake, and I mean clearly her hairstylist was lost. I don't know. Somebody said she looks like that Cher impersonator from RuPaul's Drag Race. Her face from earlier.
Chad
She looked like she was trying to dress like JoJo, like when she first came out, and it wasn't working. And I've never heard
she was trying to go for Aaliyah.
Yeah, like she had on like that beanie, and I was like, sis, this is not for you. I've never heard her talk before, so I was kind of taken aback. Like, first of all, I was shocked to know that I actually knew who she was, and then I was just like, what is like? What's the like? Was she high?
I don't know.
Yeah, she sounded really sleepy when she was like, "Yeah, these are dope," and she kept like looking around. I was like,
it was almost like she was searching for the black word to use. She was like, "What did the nigger say?"
Yeah, exactly. Like she was just so like calculating with every word, and that's why she was going so slowly. She's like, "What can I say next to make me sound like hip?"
Just say that you like them, Karen. Like it's fine.
Next
like,
thing she's gonna be pronouncing words like SZA does in her songs.
Oh, Baze, you saw the video, right? Of her doing.
Yes, I hate that video so much.
There was a video of SZA doing a cover of Rihanna's "Needed Me," and it's the funniest thing. It's like
it's not really. It's some other girl.
Oh, some other girl doing. Yeah,
it was some other girl who recorded this video, and everyone was laughing because they were like, "She sounds like
in a garbage."
Niggas, skirt on niggas. Jeremy Lin, basketball player, of some team. I don't know. He is a Chinese American who got himself some dreads, and so I guess what is the guy's name that came at him? The black dude's name?
I don't know.
Kenyon Martin. That's his name. Kenyon Martin. Came at him and was like, I don't remember what he said exactly, but he just came at him for him having his dreads. And I actually thought like Jeremy Lin actually wrote a piece on why he got his dreads. And I actually thought like it was like really well thought out. And I did a little research too, and honestly, dreads are not actually exclusive to black people. They just look better on black people. But I do want to say, because I've been seeing like a lot of Asian people getting out of pocket on the internet, and I hear y'all talking about, dreads are not specific to black people. And you know what? You're right. Dreads are not specific to black people. But okay, when Jeremy Lin got his dreads, I guarantee you he wasn't trying to look like no ancient Mesopotamians from 1832 BC. He wasn't looking at no hieroglyphs trying to imitate what they were doing. He was looking at niggas. And that's what that was about. Like, I really am tired of people trying to, like, act like when they get dreads, oh, well, the Vikings did. Well, actually, I've been doing a little research, and actually the Vikings were pretty clean. They used combs. They washed their asses. They kept their hair short for the most part.
They used to bleach their hair. They would bleach their hair to get lice out.
So, like, you sitting up here talking about all this other shit, and that's not even real. But, like, even if it was real, none of y'all are getting dreads so that you can look like these people from thousands of years ago. You're trying to look like people today. You're trying to look like black people.
Jeremy Lin doesn't have a picture of Vikings on his mood board.
I just thought it was hilarious because he said, but before his response, he told him, he said, hey, you know what? He goes, it's all good because it's out of respect because I have dreads and you have Chinese tattoos on your arm. And I said, well, look, okay, here's the thing. I agree with you, but also I just don't care. I really don't.
It's not a hill I'm gonna die on.
I understand the struggle of it, and maybe it's just privilege of me saying it, but I don't care about the hair conversation anymore. And I can say that because it doesn't affect me in a way, but the whole dread conversation, have them if you want to. You just look dumb. I'm not gonna go on a Twitter tirade because, at the end of the day, a white person having dreads is not going to impeach Donald Trump. I know we can think of more than one thing at one time, and you can be outraged about more than one thing at one time. I don't have the energy for it. Whatever. I'm going to side-eye you, but that's about it. I just don't give two fucks.
I just think they look good on black people, and they just don't look good on non-black people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're going to look dumb,
that's
but
what you want to do?
I'm not going to go drag it. I don't care. Whatever.
Did you see that Jeremy Lin responded to this guy Martin? And this guy Martin has a bunch of Chinese calligraphy tattooed. Oh shit!
Do you have your?
So when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite.
Wow! I'm actually shook right now.
Trying to do her research. She was trying to do her research.
I was wait, I'm just now. I'm sorry.
So, real quick before we go, have you guys seen this week's How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal?
Scandal! Oh my God,
Olivia Pope.
Okay, she's that bitch.
Her new wig. First of all, her new wig.
Oh, the budget for the wig.
Slick. I think the theme of this season in Shondaland is just slick, straight. You know what I mean? Because you notice that Annalise
had that too. Queen Ting
got her sleek shoulder length, look going on. Just the upgrade on the wigs. She's always looked like she was wearing a hard hat and that hard ass flip, and now she's just
okay, but low key. I'm a little bit worried because Olivia is too power hungry. Although
I'm living for it.
The way that she handled Jake, she said, "Oh no." She said, "So you were sleeping with the boss. You forgot who I am. You forgot that I'm that bitch. And what you're not going to do is go behind my back anymore. So what you can do is exit and go back to your wife."
When she got at Melly, she was like, "You don't trust other men over me."
Okay, that's where I thought that she was going too far. She told the president that I'm the boss. Girl, we know
she
are.
is.
We know that, but you don't say that out loud.
Listen, if Melly is smart, she'll listen to her. She got her that far. She got her in the White House.
She said, there's 3 things you need to know about me. First of all, I'm always right. I know it's annoying, but you'll get used to it. Second, it was just this little Papa Pope monologue that she had.
Oh my God.
She was almost too efficient.
And Annalise is breaking my heart this week. It was last week more that she was breaking my heart, but she...
I just love how those people were dragging Connor, and then she said, actually, that's the definition of white privilege, thinking that you're going to get a second chance. And I was like, well, drag him.
But yeah, so that's all we got for today. We have a few, but we'll push them next week. We'll be back with the discourse.
Wait, babe, tell me how to do it again.
The discourse.
Whatever.
Wait, did you have something to say, John?
Oh, nothing. I was going to do the air horn.
Oh, hello, everyone. We are here. We have arrived at the discourse, and we would love you to take a seat with us.
What are we doing?
As we go down memory lane and talk about the subject of bullying and our own bullying experiences. So whoever would like to start can start.
What are we doing right now, Renee?
We're talking about our experiences with bullying.
But what is the name of the segment?
The discourse. The discourse.
So we're doing what?
The discourse.
We're over here what?
We just over here what?
It's a heavy topic. I can't do it.
We just over here discoursing. It's a heavy topic, but we can just still have a good time while talking about it.
He started out like a guided relaxation. It was like, I want everyone. It was like an ASMR relaxation.
Yeah.
I want everyone to sit down with me and take a deep breath in and inhale and exhale negativity.
And
Now we're gonna
when you
release.
breathe in, let your stomach fill in with air. And when you breathe out,
with air. Feel the breath in your
suck
body.
your stomach in
as
you
you
breathe out.
release.
Fleeting, like instructional fleeting.
Okay,
John?
girl. Her and her fleet.
Sis,
You need to like come out with a line of fleet bottles.
at this point,
The listeners at home, if you're of age, just take a shot every time John brings up fleeting.
Well, I was just like, you know, when Rakim was like, exhale negativity, and I was like, push out your negativity. Literally.
John, do you have an OnlyFans?
Oh my god!
you can tell people how to fleet on your OnlyFans account.
with fleet instructional video.
Only fleet account.
Yeah. So, we're talking about bullying, right?
Who wants
Yeah.
to drive this car in memory lane first?
You said you wanted to go first,
Do you
John?
want?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay. So earlier, Baze and I were talking really quick about how some people have and haven't experienced the traditional, like, bullying story, like the, you know, what you'd see on TV, like kids getting pushed into lockers and blah blah blah. That was like sort of my experience. I've had that experience with bullying. I don't know if I ever told you guys this story, but my family actually calls me Jay. My name to them is Jay. All my relatives and sort of like my elementary school friends, they know me as Jay. But when I was younger, I was very, very feminine. I hung out with mostly girls. I preferred to hang out with girls. I hated playing sports. I hated PE. And I was like kind of a target for that. And some kid, not some kid, I know his name because I will never forget it. But this boy he gave me a nickname, and it was Gay J. And like everyone knew me as Gay J. And like I thought, and at the time I didn't know what gay meant, and so I was like, oh, everyone's laughing, and I'm laughing because it's funny. But I didn't realize that they were laughing at me, and that like I'm gay, and like being gay is bad, or quote bad, and like they're laughing at me because of who I am, you know, because I am feminine, and like I was very limp wrist, and like it was just awful. And you know how like kids are very mean, and then so like, and we fast forward to like middle school, and then the same kid comes up with this song, and it's like, it was kind of clever, but it goes A B C D E F G H I J is gay, and like everyone starts laughing. Like someone will start off saying the ABCs, and then when I get there, they're like, Jay's gay, and like everyone starts laughing, and I'm just like, fuck my life. Like I'm never going to like escape this like thing. And like all the kids made fun of me because I stand up tall, or like I would be like, some people call me pigeon chested, and I didn't know what that meant until like I guess I looked at myself. It means you walk around with your chest out like a pigeon.
Oh,
and like my parents would always correct my posture because I was slouching, so I overcompensated by sticking my chest out. But then like kids at school were like, you're walking really gay, and so I would just like try to mask it. So I
thought that was supposed to be really masked if you stick your chest out when you're walking.
That's what I thought, but I guess you're supposed to hate yourself all the time and slouch, but whatever.
Oh shit.
That's me.
But like, yeah, so that's actually why, you know, when I got into high school and like early college, I asked people to stop calling me Jay. I was like, I don't want to be called that anymore because it brings up bad memories. Just start calling me John. But then that didn't really stop people in high school for making fun of me. And it's not even just high school. It gets kind of personal, but even my own family members would bully me and tease me. about being super feminine and gay. And and there was a point where I had to be like supervised by someone, like reported me to the counselor because they saw me like reading books in the library about suicide. And I took this test and it was like, mark the ones that apply to you, and like I checked off the ones that applied to me, and it was like very high risk for suicide, and like someone reported me that because I did that test. And so that just like, it made me really distrust people because I thought I had friends, and then like I can't even tell you about how sad I am because you're going to report me to the counselor, and like now I'm under suicide watch, and like that made me even more like suicidal. So yeah, I don't know. I just
Wait, John, looking back, I mean, do you still, I guess, have feelings about them reporting you? Like, because I would imagine that they did it because they were concerned.
Right. And the person who did it was an anonymous person, but like it was a very, I get the intentions were good, but also like it made me look around at my friends, like who can I trust and who can I tell about this?
Oh, okay, I see.
The purpose was like, I want to keep this a secret, you know, and then told the counselor that I'm gay and that I want to kill myself. And it just like,
and it's like you already have a hard
see.
time. You already have a hard time with trust.
I'm already having a hard time trying to stay out of the limelight or whatever, because I'm like already getting picked on and people are always watching me, and so now people are watching me even more. And like I think bullying it. So the conversation that me and Baze were having, it kind of surprises me that there are some kids who like didn't go through that. I was like, wow, that's super privileged to never get called fag or gay growing up, because like that was totally my thing. Like people like spit
I didn't say all that.
Well, right, but I'm just saying like I was like, what is that like? You know, I always wondered like, what is that like? And then so I sort of look at like youth now when they say like when someone calls them a fag, like everything goes up in arms because like, oh my god, they just called me a fag. When I'm just like, dude, that was my thing since I was like 7. So I guess the silver lining to it is that like bullying has built a tough skin in me, but like to where situations like this don't bother me as much. Like people can call me gay J now and I'm like, yeah, whatever, that's totally me. Like, and how, you know? But I guess if I could say I would say I was lucky enough to find some people to hang on to. And so I would say if I could tell anyone now who's sort of going through the same situation is to hang tight to those people. What about you guys?
I'll go since I was called out for having this easy life.
No, I didn't say you.
Like, since I was privileged.
Since I was quote unquote. No, I mean, let's see. Let us see. So I don't think I got bullied as much when I was in elementary school because I hung out with a lot of like okay. Initially, like at school, I had a lot of guy friends, and then like there was like an after school program that I would go to, and there I had a lot of girlfriends. And so I remember I talked about this before, but there was a point where my uncle like forbid me from like hanging out with the girls because he always saw me hanging out with girls. And I guess he thought it would make me straight or something. But at school, I like all of my close friends were guys, and so I think that shielded me from, I guess, having to deal with it as much because my friends will like defend me if anybody said anything about me. And when I think up until 6th grade, because I lived in Harbor City until 6th grade. And I specifically remember some kid trying to start something with me, and one of my friends punched him in the face for like it wasn't even like a homophobic thing. It just like it was something completely unrelated, which is interesting because it makes me wonder like had I not switched schools, who would I be now? Because then I switched to a really white, well, not really white, but it was like white and like Asian, and like it was like everything but black, pretty much. And that was where I did start to experience more bullying. Like I remember one kid, like pushing me up against lockers and stuff. But then, even then, I had my best friend who was a girl, but she was like tough. And I remember she like started fighting this boy because because he was picking on me, and I think he was calling me a fag, and she like pushed me away and like started attacking him, and then lied and said that he called her mom like a crack hoe or something.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
But I think I experienced. I do feel like I guess I was privileged in that regard because I did experience very like light bullying. Like people would make like little comments to me. I had like, you know, my quote unquote friends would like ditch me and like or also make like comments to me about being like gay or whatever. And so I was also like the kind of person that like at that time, if somebody like picked on me, I would just be quiet and I would clam up and I wouldn't say anything about it because I didn't want to like upset them. And so at my school, like people weren't like, I don't think that they were that cruel where they would have just continuously like attacked me. But it wasn't until like I was in high school where people were like, when they would like mess with me, I started getting really irritated with it, and I started becoming the petty person that you know and have before you now. And I started like saying shit back to people, and I'll never forget the time, and I'll name them: Camden Hirschberger.
Oh my god, Baze.
Well, it was in, I think it was, what was it, third period? No, it was fifth period because it was either right before lunch or right after lunch, but it was in the science building, and we were in science class, and I had a crush on this girl, and I'm not gonna say her name, but I had a crush on this girl, and I suspect he liked her too, because every time I would go over to like her table, like and like talk to her, he would like say something too, and like he would say something to me, like make comments to me. And one day I like just snapped and like I walked over to him and I said, and I just blacked out and like we got into a fight. I like just blacked. I don't remember what happened. And we got into a fight, and I remember being in the principal's office afterwards, and she was like, "Is this going to be a problem?" And he beat my ass. Actually, he was like some white kid, and like I got made fun of afterwards for getting beat up by a white kid. But but I was like, yeah, as long as he doesn't say anything else to me. But if he keeps saying shit to me, we're gonna be fighting every day. And he didn't so much as look at me again. Like just the fact that I was willing to fight on a regular basis. So I don't know. I mean, you were right. I was like, I got called a fag. I definitely got picked on. I definitely got like left behind by people. I definitely had like a lot of fake friends that would like go and do things without me because I'm assuming that they didn't want to be embarrassed by me. Wouldn't invite me out on the weekends. Would talk about like their weekend, what they had done over the weekends, like in front of me on Monday. And so I guess it was light in that regard. But like I think after that fight, most people didn't like really fuck with me in terms of like making fun of me and picking on me, other than to like say like it was some of the black kids that were like, wow, you let yourself get fucked up by a white kid. I think the effects of it really hit me when I was 18, and it was after I graduated, because that was like, I think 18 was like the worst year of my life. Right after I graduated high school, it was like the worst summer. I holed myself up in my room, and I didn't interact with anyone. I felt like my youth had been wasted, which is weird because I was only 18, but I felt like my youth had been wasted because I didn't get to experience the things that like quote unquote normal kids get to experience. And because I was like, even though it was light bullying, I developed like a severe like case of just questioning myself. Oh my god, is my walk too gay? Is the way that I'm talking too gay? Do I even open my mouth because maybe it's too gay? Like it doesn't matter. Like I would like constantly be like policing myself, like constantly. Like as soon as I walked out the door, I was policing myself. I was like, what am I doing? How can I make this more masculine than than how I feel like it is? And for all I know, I was just walking like anybody else would walk, but just the idea that there was something wrong with me. And then I developed like trust issues with myself, so I didn't trust my perception of anything. I was like, I'm wrong. Everything that I think is wrong. Like I can't be correct. And if I trying to be friends with people, I think early on I did accept certain behaviors from people because I thought that was the best I was going to ever get in terms of like friends. Because I think my bullying I felt like my bullies wasn't so much from like the like enemies or whatever. I think my bullying came more from like the little things my quote unquote friends would do. That I think fucked me up more than anything.
And it sounds like you were kind of bullying yourself, right?
Yeah.
With like,
well, because if it's the people that are supposed to have your back are like telling you all these things about yourself, like it may. I think it. I don't want to say it affects you worse, but it just.
You start to police like your own actions and everything.
Yeah. So like after high school, I think that was when I was like seriously considering like suicide. I was like planning it. I was like, when can I do this? And I'm glad I stuck around, but. That was a really... I mean, I got to a point where, like, I didn't interact with people, and I remember one time being made to go outside, and I, like, was so, like, skittish, because I couldn't even... Like, being around people, like, put me on edge. Like, that was how bad it got, that I, like, completely isolated myself from, like, the world. And it's funny, this book that I'm reading right now, it's, like, not to plug, but it's called They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. And there's a point where the main character says, like, my apartment is my sanctuary and my prison at the same time. And that was what my bedroom became for me. So.
But you're still here. Here.
But yeah,
you're
sorry.
Still here.
That was a really roundabout way of saying that I guess I am privileged and didn't have.
No, I'm sorry.
That's not
for it
privilege,
to
babe.
come out like that.
Well, but it wasn't, like, I wasn't kidding. Nobody was making up songs about my name. Well, they did call me Latifah, so my middle name is Latif. And that was the one thing I got made fun of in elementary school. They used to call me Queen Latifah, because my middle name is Latif, and I went by Latif, so. Which I would wear with, like, pride now. But
yeah, oh my god, that's a cool name.
I hated it. But anyway.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that actually sounds kind of cool, but then you got picked on, so I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But
Renee, Rakim.
You want to go first?
You can go first, Rakim.
Some R&R.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of a mix of Baze and John. I was actually bullied pretty heavily, when I was younger. For me, it was interesting that it came mostly, if not all, from black people. So I remember, and a lot came from my family, and a lot of my struggle was like, on one hand, being told that I'm too black because of how my skin looks and being too dark, but then also being told by those same people that I'm not black enough because of the way that I talked or the way that I dress. And I remember I used to go to this private Christian school after my dad passed away because my mom wanted me somewhere like where family was, and one of my aunts taught there. And I remember like the kids were just, I didn't know what gay was either, but I would always be called milk and cookies, and I didn't know what that meant.
You told us, yeah.
Yeah, and they would always say like, oh, or like he's or fruity or whatever. Fruity. And
I
like
didn't know what that was either.
And like I didn't find myself overly feminine. Like I like physically, my voice didn't deepen yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't going through puberty. So like I didn't really get like what that whole thing was. And because I happened to like the color yellow, like the Yellow Ranger was my favorite Power Ranger, and then it changed to the blue one.
Trini.
Like, no, Trini was that bitch. And I just remember like I'm trying to like condense all of it because like but it was like I know I got it from, so first I got it from that school, and so they would always make fun of me because I was like the smart nerdy kid that like had braces and I had a headgear and all this shit. I remember once like I was actually walking to our computer lab, and it was like behind a gate, and this kid that bullied me, he actually he pushed the gate on me, like a physical like gate to go into a house. Oh, no. And I had this gate like on me, and I was sitting outside like on this block like screaming for like 5 minutes, and he went back in and said like, oh well, he's not there while I'm out here with this gate on me. And the teacher came out later and saw me, and she got me or whatever. And then later that same kid like pushed me down some stairs and then just started like punching me for no reason. And at that point I had a Baze moment where I was like, I can let him beat my ass or I can fight back. Mm-hmm. And I just remember not knowing why I was being hit in the head, but I just kicked him in the balls and then just started punching anything. Like because I didn't understand what was
Violence
going
is
on
the
in my-
answer.
What? So
Violence is the answer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, and so I was just like, this is some bullshit. And then I remember when I left private school and I went to middle school for the first time in public school, the same thing happened. Like, all the black kids made fun of me, so I didn't hang out with them. And I actually got put in the trash can. And like,
Oh my god.
I got put in the trash can and I got made fun of. And I remember when I had my first friend finally, everyone was like, oh, you're gay and that kind of thing. But like, low-key, it made me happy when I heard that. And at the time, I didn't know why. But like, I was just happy that someone thought I was really close with my friend.
Yeah.
And
And then maybe he was gay.
Huh?
I was like, maybe he was gay too.
Oh no, he's straight as fuck. And I just remember like that developing into me not really liking black people for a really, really long time. I wanted to straighten my hair. I tried to.
Sorry,
I
I
did
almost said a
straighten my
name.
hair.
No, I almost said a name, and I was gonna call you it, but I was like, let me not.
No,
bitch.
don't.
No, I'm not going to. I just was I had to stop myself from doing
I will
it.
fly out to New York and beat your ass.
Let me not throw shade.
But yeah, I like straightened my hair, and I remember like in middle school, I bought all my clothes an extra large on purpose, and I wore a medium because I wanted to like seem like I was hard. Like I wore FUBU hats and backwards and all this shit. I did all of this shit. Like I remember I got a hat from Power 106, and I thought I was that bitch because Power 106 had like masculine men on it. And like, but that's what happened. And then when I came home, I heard the same thing from my family. Like, not all of them, but a lot of them were, would call me milk and cookies or fruity or whatever, and make me feel not comfortable. So, kind of like Baze, my response was, that's why I like to stay home a lot. Like, because I didn't want to be out with people. Yeah. I desperately wanted friends, but I couldn't have any. And then I remember once, like, I went to the gym the other week, and I saw the guy who like was one of my bullies at the gym. And
Is this the pastor?
Yes.
Yes.
So I was bullied by a pastor.
Future pastor.
And, like, he told me, I remember I was in choir and I did like a solo, and he told me, oh, you realize you fucked that up, right? Like, everyone was laughing at you. And he made me feel like you were saying, I had to constantly check myself. And so it just made me hate people, and I hated black people specifically, and it took a lot of work to kind of undo it. So when I saw him at the gym, I remember it was like 2 weeks ago. I just froze up. Like I felt like I was 12 again. And it was just like, I had to catch myself because he went up to me and said hi. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I should have like threw hands right there at the gym. But, But anyway, I mean, obviously, like, I got over it, but not got over it, but I learned and I grew. But it still affects me, like, to this day. And it's, like, the reason why I'm really scared of, like, doing things in front of crowds, even though we do this podcast that goes out to people. But I'm not recording it in front of 1,000 people or whatever. But,
heaven forbid we ever get big enough to do live shows.
Oh, that won't, like, I'll Skype. But yeah, so that was kind of my experience with it. So I just got kind of bullied from all around, and that's like the condensed version, but it sucks. Like, and I wouldn't say, John, I know what you meant, but I wouldn't say someone's like privileged that they didn't get bullied. I would just say they were like fortunate in that regard.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But it's still, I know what you meant though, but like it fucks you up for sure. Yeah.
I forgot to add the racial bullying. I thought we were focusing on like queer, like bullying for our queer.
That's a whole nother thing.
Anyway, Renee, go ahead. I'll like try to make a small comment afterwards. A short comment afterwards.
Ew. I don't want to talk about this. And
this is your idea.
I was going to say, wasn't this your discourse?
Well, okay, so this became a discourse topic because of the kid in New York who ended up killing his bully. And yeah, it just sucks, and it just sucks that like you kind of, it's almost like you have to resort to that in order for shit like this to stop. And it's like, you obviously don't, but like that's when you're in that environment and when you're in that mindset, it feels like, fuck, I just want this to stop. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, I forgot what the phrase is or the saying is, like when you poke a line or push a line to the corner, like don't be surprised when they fight back.
Yeah. Right. I don't know how it goes. Yeah. But yeah, I had it really bad. I mean, I had it like okay in high school. It wasn't too bad. As bad as elementary, but in elementary school, I remember having it like really bad. Like, it was so bad at one point that my teacher was like, "Hey, I need to talk to your dad at some point or whatever." And then like there was always like teacher parent like meetings or whatever. But what I thought was what was weird about mine was like it was usually in front of the kid, and then but she was like, I'm gonna talk to your dad in this room or whatever, and she like took him to this other room or whatever, and they had like a chat, and it was after that day she would start driving me home or like taking me to her place so that I wasn't like bullied on the way out of like my classroom or whatever.
Your teacher drove you home?
Yeah, she would so that nothing would happen to me, like because I used to get like beat up like pretty frequently, and she would start driving me to either home or to her place or whatever. Because it was really bad, and it was like, and I remember it was a lot worse than they knew, because when they weren't around, it was like really bad. And it was like I was going to Catholic school, and it was like the type of school where like at lunch you had to sit with like your grade, like you didn't have a choice as to who to sit with. And I would just dread like every day at lunch, because it was just like, oh fuck, like there's no one to supervise, and like I'm like gonna go through it for like a half hour or whatever. However
did the
long.
teacher not report it? I'm a little like, did she not?
No, so yeah, she would talk to them, and she would. Well, so there was one incident where I was getting beat up, and it was when the teacher wasn't in the classroom. And I didn't want to say anything. I told her, I was like, I don't want you to say anything, because I don't want you to get in trouble, because she would have gotten in trouble for not being in the classroom. And like, or like stuff like that. Like when they weren't around, it was really bad, and I wouldn't say anything because I wouldn't. For me, I was like, if I snitch, it's gonna be worse for me than if I just sit and take it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just shocked that like no adult. Like, at some point, I don't know, like, they could have called, I don't know, I don't fucking know. I just felt like they could have done more. But I'm sorry, you have to go through that.
I'm sure, but again, like, the worst of it, the brunt of it, was when they were not around. And I was not going to be the one to go and tell them about it. So, yeah, and so when I look back at it, she was actually trying to be, like, do her best, I guess, to an extent. Like, she was like, okay, I'll like walk you to the car, or like I'll take you home, or whatever. Or
yeah,
like
sounds like she did a lot more than a lot of other teachers would.
Yeah, like she was doing a lot. She was actually doing a lot, I think. And I think she knew. I think maybe potentially the talks that she would have with my dad were like, hey, like your son's a little different, and he's not really fitting in. And so, yeah, and it, like, that particular time in life was really bad, just because, like, I was getting it at school and at home when my dad wasn't around. So I think, and I had this talk with, and maybe I've said this on air before, but I had this talk with Ulysses, but he like talked about how like I don't like to like call a lot of attention to myself, especially when we're out. Like I try to keep as low profile as possible. And I think that has a lot to do with like what y'all were saying, whereas like if you call attention to yourself, you're like more you're vulnerable to like some type of ridicule or even physical harm eventually. But yeah, it was like, yeah, fucking, I remember Sunday nights like being like feeling like a really heavy feeling and being like, fuck, I have to go to school this like tomorrow. And like I realize now that was like me being depressed at like 9 years old. So yeah, it's just like middle school was like not as bad, I guess, because like I mean I had fake friends too.
Yeah.
So it was not as bad, but high school was like when it was like more bigger people, and I found like other weirdos, I guess, and like other queer people, and like also like other like I attracted a lot of like popular girls, I guess, in high school, and like they would have my back. I remember. Like,
that's rare.
It's funny that you said that, Baze, because I remember this guy threw like a whole bottle of Coke at me once when I was like walking down the hall, and she came out of her classroom. She's like, "What the fuck, bro?" And she like went up to him. She's like, "Watch where you fuck." Like she like turned into like fucking like beast mode. It was amazing.
I was gonna say that's rare because a lot of like straight girls really don't be having it back when guys mess with you.
Right. No, she like the people that I was making friends with, like for sure, like they were ride or die.
That's awesome.
And I would say like, I think even now, like a lot of my friends, a lot of close friends are like feel like I need to be, because I guess I'm a little more shy than they are in some regards.
Yeah.
Like feel like whenever I'm like talking about some issue, like they'll be like, "What? I'm gonna go talk to that person right now," or whatever. Like Reina, like, well, when we were living together, I'm like, "Oh, this person said this to me," but I was just saying it to vent, and then she would like leave the room immediately. I'm like, "Oh my god, where the fuck are you going?" But it was pretty bad, and I think like I have like a lot of issues. A lot of the issues that I have now can be, I think, traced back to what I was going through.
Yeah, it's crazy, like how much of like how much shit that you like the way sorry. It's crazy, like how your personality is formed, like based off of your childhood. Like I was talking about that in therapy, and I was just like, it's crazy, like how literally you will do things like to you were like 50, 75 years old because of what happened when you were like 10, and like that's insane to me. But
wow.
You know, we're all still here.
We are still queer.
So, like I said, I think it made me a little tougher. Would you guys say there's anything? I know it's a weird question, but did anything good come out of these experiences for you guys? Like, did you learn anything? Do you feel?
My experience taught me that straight men only understand violence. So if you're not threatening them with it, then they're not going to get in line.
It taught me, as corny as this is, it kind of taught me that I'm a lot more emotional and like empathetic and sympathetic than I thought, and I think that's a good thing. Like, it reminded me of like my humanity almost, because like I could never do that to someone unless you're Carrie Hilson. Like, I can never do that to someone, and you know, like what they did to me, and it really made me realize that, oh, okay, well, I'm not like this horrible person that's like making this other person feel like shit. And then, John, like you were saying, it also gave me like a thick skin at the same time. Like, I just don't like most things don't bother me because I'm just like, I've heard it all. So
yeah.
I think, I feel like the same. Like, there's like some type of intense compassion that probably arose from that. And I think probably one of my pet peeves to this day is like when I see somebody who's a little more kind of, I guess, like powerful in any way, like in whatever regards, like kind of looking down upon or like taking advantage of somebody who's a little more meek. I think that is something that like makes my blood boil, and I usually try to step in at some point.
Yeah, I think being bullied has always made me really like an underdog story. So like last week we talked about Bring It On. I was like, yeah, let's get this like squad that's like not doing so well. Like, I'd love to see that story. But like, it's impacted me to the point where like, this is what I do for a living. You know, I work for one of the largest LGBTQ organizations in the world, and it's like someone had asked me like, why are you doing what you're doing when you could be working at somewhere else? And it's like, because people out there need a place like this, and they need other people to know that they're being cared for by people. And like, actually, if I can make a plug real quick, there's an event happening at USC October 28th called Models of Pride. And it is an event for LGBTQIA youth in Southern California. And it's a free event. And I was given the honor to speak at the event.
Oh.
So I'll be speaking about kind of being bullied, and I'll be telling the story of the Serena, which I think I've told you guys before. It's the mermaid tattoo on my arm. And it's because I want kids to know, especially LGBTQ kids and kids of queer kids of color, that like you are loved and that you should just keep hanging on and like your magic and etc. Because it's as all of us, we have acknowledged each other. We're all glad we're still here. So these kids need to know that they need to be here too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good place to end it with the message of positivity.
Well, I did want to say really quickly. Never mind, it's fine.
No, say it.
No, speak your mind, sis.
Well, because I only talked about. I didn't talk about like the like anti-blackness stuff that I did. But
oh, go ahead.
I mean, I'll just rush through it. But like, I dealt with a lot of like similar things that you talked about, Rakeem, which was not being black enough. Now, it didn't make me hate black people because there just were still too many non-black people that were like in my face about it. Actually, a lot of the people that gave me shit for not being black enough were non-black people.
Oh,
I remember one of my like Mexican classmates coming up to me and telling me that he was blacker than I was.
Oh yeah,
and obviously like there was the black card thing that came up a lot. Like, you know, if I said anything about anything, it was like, why are you so like, why are you always like looking for racial things? And I remember I had a teacher who told me, I think I mentioned this before too, is I had a teacher who told me that if I looked for racism, I would find it.
Ew.
We had one teacher, the black who referred to the black students in the class, a history teacher who referred to the black students in the class as animals. In the letter to no, I think it wasn't a letter. I think he was talking to a substitute teacher that was taking over the class for him. And he was a really weird person. He used to wear kilts to like school every day. It wasn't anything wrong with the kilt, but like he always like had.
It's
like,
abnormal. It doesn't happen all the time.
It just was like he was just like a very quirky, I guess, white person. He always like he used to ride his bike to school every day, so like the shirts of his the armpits of his shirts were always yellow. He just was a really
what kind of light
person.
Drag? Go off.
Anyway, but yeah, like I dealt with a lot of that. That was a little bit harder to combat for me than the anti the homophobia, because that was like a challenge of masculinity, and I could like fight that, but like you can't. I don't know. I found that easier to fight than like racism.
Yeah,
because you know, I mean, I like had a girl like tell me like, that she liked white gays better than black gays because black gays are too dramatic and weird, and she ended up trying to have a modeling career and it failed.
Sis.
And I'm just, you know,
black gays are more dramatic than white. Keep it.
Yes.
The lies.
Like
lies.
I used to have a fro in high school, and I remember people like sticking trash in my hair. Like it was just always like little shit like that. That was I think a lot harder to combat, but that one for me that instilled more a hatred for other people than more internalized anti-blackness. I was just like, I hate all of you.
Yeah.
It made me love my blackness even more. It made me retreat to my blackness because I was just like,
did you?
Wow, must be nice.
From the other black people, it was like, you're not cool enough. Like, you have to be the specific cool kind of black person who dresses this. You have to wear these certain kind of jeans, and you have to wear them this way, and you have to do this. Because there were the black guys at my school. Like, they were literally a group of black guys, and they were all like the same exact type of person. Like, they were all like, well, some of them played sports, some of them didn't, but they all dressed the same, and they all like talked the same, and they all like did the same shit. They all like were really super misogynistic, and I actually tried to join them. I remember trying to join them one time, and they made up a rumor that one of my best friends, that I said that I fucked my best friend, and I stopped hanging out with them because they were just really like toxic, and so I don't know. Anyway, that really wasn't. I didn't really need to add that, but.
No, that is a different form of bullying that we didn't get a chance to talk about. I was going to ask Renee, did you ever get called out for not being Latino enough?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. To this day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was. A lot of people didn't even think I was Latino. I was. One of my nicknames was Gay Chinese Boy.
Oh. I mean, that's cool.
Now, But yeah, I got that. I did. I probably got a lot more shit from the people that made fun of me for being Latino, I guess. Or for like I had like even like as recently as like 3 years ago, like I had somebody be like, "Oh, but you look like really Mexican." Like especially when you grow out your mustache, you like really Mexican. Like it was like I needed to do something about it. Like I have a pimple or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I think that was I got like I was dirty. I was like gross. Like all these things that I started to believe for a bit when I was a kid. But like I probably got that a lot more than you're not Latino enough. Yeah.
So what were you gonna say? You said you had some other things that you wanted to talk
I just
about.
wanted to, well, so there was like a couple of things that like I had read online about like how to deal with it, and one of the things was just like if you have like a kid or like you know a kid that is going through a lot of this, just kind of like talking to them frequently about how their day is going, or like there was one question that was like, "Oh, what's your lunch like? Who do you sit with?" Blah blah blah, just so they know that they can talk to you about whatever. And that they're like revealing, because I would talk to the only person that really would speak to me was my dad, and by the time he would get home, I was probably asleep. And then when he would ask me things, like I would be too embarrassed to be like, "Hey, I'm being bullied." But just like I guess, just kind of like pushing your kids, like who are your friends and how they treat you, and like stuff like that. And then also as far as bullying is concerned, and what I try to do in general is like, if you see like bullying going on, trying to intervene somehow, and that usually cuts it. I saw a statistic that it cuts bullying in like half. If you somehow intervene or change the subject or whatever, basically not, because if the bully like gets some kind of validation from you, like you're laughing or like you think it's whatever, like they're going to continue doing it. But if like they get called out on it, then they're just like, "Oh shit, like this is actually maybe
like when Charlemagne went on the Breakfast Club and said that really transphobic shit, and they laughed and they kept going on.
Right, exactly. And he thought it was okay because, like, I mean, not to blame like whoever was laughing, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're laughing, like it's almost like validating, like, okay, yeah, what you're saying is funny.
And I also wanted to touch on bullying comes in all kinds of forms, and I kind of said it earlier with Baze policing himself. I think when we're really down on ourselves, we start to bully ourselves. Like a lot of the negative thoughts come from us. So I just wanted to say, like, kind of keep an awareness of that. And one of the things that I learned from one of my best friends was like, I would, back when I was going through this, was like, I'm worthless, no one likes me, blah blah blah. Like, I want to kill myself. And my friend at the time was like, "Why are you saying those things to yourself?" She said, "Would you say any of those things to me, like to your best friend?" I was like, "No, I would never." And she was like, "Then you should be your own best friend right now. Like, you should take care of yourself." And I was like, that is some fucking good advice. And I was like, I try to remember that now. Like, every time I talk bad about myself, like the other day yesterday I was having some weird issues about my body, and like Rakeem made me feel good about myself, and I was like, why am I talking about myself in this way when I should just learn to be okay with it? And like, so just keep an eye out for that, and don't bully yourself.
And also, a lot of the times, the stuff that you get bullied for is what makes you special and what makes you unique, and people are threatened by it. Yeah, and exactly. Like, I know a lot of stuff I got bullied for is the stuff that I turned into a positive and like make money off of. So like, like Tyra Banks was bullied for her forehead, but she got a model. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of models and stuff like that I mean, that's different, but they're like bullied for all these like weird eccentric parts or whatever. And people just don't like what they don't understand. They don't like something that's different. They don't like something that challenges their ideas, and it makes them feel uncomfortable. And it's nothing wrong with you. It's they have this thing that they're projecting onto you. And I mean, sometimes they're just shitty people, but people that are comfortable with themselves never feel the need to put down others ever. And if you are comfortable with yourself and love yourself, I mean, I'm not going to say that like it makes it like it'll go away, but in terms of like people affecting like your self-esteem, like they can't. So build yourself up, And whatever works for you. My sister always says it's called self-esteem because it's the esteem of yourself. So work on yourself. So she's always like, work on yourself.
Ashley.
Yeah. So she's always like, work on yourself. And, people can't hurt you in certain ways.
And you're gonna find your people. Like, it probably seems hard at some point. Like, to me, like, still to this day, when I'm just like, when like friends do like really nice things for me, like I like my first instinct is to cry because like there's still that little boy that's like, oh, like no one's ever gonna really care about me. But I think that'll happen, and you'll be surprised by it.
All right. Well, I think that about ends our discourse.
Thank you for joining Memory Lane with us.
I'm gonna shout out to Gage really quick.
I thought we were gonna
email, and we love you, and thanks for the pictures of Beyonce and turf banks.
Oh, are we not gonna do that in the...
Oh, I thought we were, but
Oh shit!
No, I mean it's fine.
Weren't gonna do it. Okay,
it's fine. Also, let us see. Oh, well, first of all, I'm so mad. I did think we were going to do another segment. I was like hoping that we were going to, just because I wanted to watch. It's fine. It's fine. We don't have enough to fill another segment. It's fine. The Jedi Force Awakens trailer just dropped an hour ago. And so I was like, I wanted to watch it and react to it, but it's fine. It's fine. We can talk about it next week.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm so excited. Apparently Finn is in it. And
shit.
It's like
so
awake.
let's end the episode so I can watch it. Okay.
Bitch.
So,
all right.
So, again, you can find your podcast on social media at Trash of Color at Twitter. And you can find us at Podcast of Color everywhere else. And again, the show is on YouTube. It's on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. It's just not on Spotify. And again, if you have a honey roast or want to send in an email, send that to podcastofcolor@gmail.com.
Sorry, real quick. Thank you to Walker for writing into us that was not the largest shooting in American history. The genocide against Native Americans.
Yes.
I think we might have just meant to say in like modern, because I think it was more so. I think we meant more so like, or at least for me, I meant more like with like a assault weapon or whatever. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, just want to make sure that we're not erasing people. So continue. Sorry,
but no, that was it.
We on YouTube now.
What?
We on YouTube now and.
Yeah, I said that.
We're on the YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, look, I had a John moment.
Listening to me today? That's okay. We just talked about I'm being bullied. This is a form of bullying when you're ignored by your friends. But anyway, yeah, if you have a honey roast or question, send it to podcastofcolor@gmail.com. And again, thank you for listening. And I guess we will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.